Eagles Entertainment.
Welcome, Eagles everywhere, to the Eagles Insider Podcast presented by Lincoln Financial Group. Eagles Insider Dave Spadaro with you as we get ready for Seattle. The 7-3 Seahawks come to Lincoln Financial Field on Monday night. So we get our tailgate edition going here, and we start with some difficult news. The offensive line just taking blow after blow after blow this season. The latest coming from right tackle Lane Johnson, who held a teleconference with reporters on Friday and then laid out the news, and it's not good news, concerning his health for the remainder of 2020.
How are you physically this week? And, it's been one thing after another this year. What's this year been like for you, dealing with so many injuries and just trying to get on the field and stay on the field?
It's been difficult trying to, play at a high level. Really just the anxiety of, the whole process. But it's part of the game. It's something I knew that I would struggle with throughout the year. It's just something that's continually, hadn't improved much. And so for that look of my season, it's done. And probably be maybe a 4-month recovery, 5-month recovery. But essentially from all the high ankle sprains and damage I've had done to my ankle, it's really kind of a repair of the deltoid ligament. So it's like the inside of my ankle is collapsed. And so a lot of my power and my push-off that I normally have isn't there.
So Johnson is done for the rest of the season. That means that on Monday night, the Eagles will start their 10th different combination along the offensive line. Nothing official, but Johnson said that Matt Pryor will play right tackle, Jason Peters will play right guard, Jordan Mailata will play left tackle, and of course Isaac Seumalo at left guard. And then Jason Kearse, making his 100th consecutive start, plays the center position. Every single spot along the offensive line has been impacted this year, except for the center spot. And Kearse banged up with a left elbow injury suffered in Cleveland, but he's going to be out there. The longest consecutive game streak in the NFL right now belongs to the toughest man on this football team. So best wishes to Lane Johnson. Get healthy. And boy, oh boy, are we going to miss Lane Johnson. We've missed him throughout the year. We've missed Brandon Brooks. Andre Dillard not playing this year. Eagles have really taken a hit from what is historically and annually their very best position, the offensive line. This year, that is not the case. And that moving in and out of the lineup, those rotating names, those faces, have absolutely impacted the Philadelphia Eagles offense, which has struggled really since the first, 28 minutes of the season. Eagles led the Washington football team 17-0. The offense looked great. Carson Wentz threw an interception, and then we have not seen the Eagles offense play with any consistency for the remainder of this 2020 season. We'll see on Monday night how it all comes together. A lot to get to here on this Eagles Insider Podcast presented by Lincoln Financial Group, our tailgate edition. We're going to take our first look at the Seahawks. Lydia Cruz from Seahawks.com joins me in a bit. We're also going to go down a little bit of history, a little alumni alley here, our Microsoft Teams Eagles Legend of the Week, former Eagles defensive end, Jevon Kearse, the Freak. Good conversation with him. Also, Jim Cramer saying that the Eagles will get this quarterback situation straightened out. Find out from him what he's got in mind. First up, though, Carson Wentz, Eagles quarterback, our exclusive one-on-one with number 11 as we try to figure out how the Eagles can get this offense turned around. We welcome in quarterback Carson Wentz's weekly one-on-one. I'm Eagles Insider Dave Spadaro. Our conversation presented by NovaCare Rehabilitation. And Carson, happy Thanksgiving weekend to you. Hope you had a good one on Thursday. We are looking at Monday's game against Seattle. And look, the question is this: what does the offense need to do to get back on track starting on Monday night?
Yeah, first of all, thank you. It was a great, holiday, and obviously a little different this year for everybody, but still good to just spend some time with the family. But I think plain and simple, we got to stop, hurting ourselves. I think whether it's turnovers or not staying on the field or penalties or different things, we're so close early in ball games, and then we have just a lapse in judgment or a mistake, a mental or physical mistake, and kind of sets the tone for the ball game. I think if we can come out fast, play fast, and limit those mistakes early in games and kind of change the momentum I really think that'll set us up for success. And we realize how close we are, and we just got to come out swinging a little better early in games.
It's interesting, making a mistake, mental lapse of judgment, physical mistake. I mean, you can talk about it and maybe obsess about it too. So it's kind of a fine line, right? Like you still want to play really fast, really free, but at the same time you want to be cognizant of not turning the football over. So is it a difficult balancing act?
I mean, absolutely. I think every guy, kind of walks through that and just try not to overthink it by any means. But I do know it's something that has shown up too many times. And I think, like I said, early in ball games especially is what I think is hurting us. Because I think if we come out and we put points on the board, on our first drive, whether it's 3 or 7 points, I think it sets the tone a little differently for us as an offense. And I think we need that, extra momentum to kind of propel us. And we just got to clean it up early in games and find a way to stay on the field as well on third downs.
What is it like, Carson, behind the scenes, the collaboration between the players, yourself, the coaching staff, everybody working for the same thing to try to get this back on track? Is it frantic? Is it calm? Is it intense? How would you describe it?
Yeah, I would say it's pretty calm. I would say it's calm and very very focused. I think I think in this building as players and coaches, I think you do everything you can to block out the noise and be the same person every day, whether we're 10-0 or 3-6-1, whatever, it doesn't matter. You try and be the same and just be laser focused when you're in this building and try and formulate the best game plan and physically and mentally as a player, get yourself ready to go to the best of your ability and try not to change. That's the approach I've always had, whether we're undefeated or haven't won a game. That's the same approach I try and take, and I think I've seen a lot of coaches and players take that same approach, and I think we're going to get it going in the right direction.
If every game is a learning experience, when you watched yourself against the Browns, what did you learn? What did you like? What did you not like?
Yeah, I think we did some things well. I think the biggest thing that sticks out really from the last 2 games is just not staying on the field on third down, and some of those things are because of our first and second down. We're behind the chains too often, and we got to find a way to have positive plays on first and second down and find a way to stay on the field and stop putting ourselves in 3rd and 10 situations. Obviously, we all know we got to take care of the football better. I got to take care of the football better. Those are some of the big things we can learn from, but staying ahead of the chains is something that I learned, and I think that as an offense we learned is so extremely crucial in some of these ball games.
Carson, are there specific areas of your game that you really say, hey, I'm just not where I want to be right now? I've been really great in these areas before. I'm not there right now.
I would say, the biggest is just third down, like I've been talking about, and then just protecting the football. I think there's a handful that are unfortunate this year and tough luck, and there's a handful of times, whether I'm forcing it or I just need to make a better throw and be smarter, and that's something that I'm trying to learn from every week and every game, and it's something that I got to get cleaned up, and I think we will as a team. I think I will as a player, and I think we'll, like I've been saying, I think we'll get it going in the right direction, and I'm confident and excited to host a really good team here on Monday Night Football.
Jevon Kearse starts his 100th consecutive game on Monday night. This is a remarkable streak. This is an Iron Man at one of the game's most difficult positions. What does that say to you about Jason, that he's not only as talented as we know, but he's been so durable?
It's pretty incredible, honestly. You see the injuries every year. You see the injuries up front even this year. And just it's so common, and it's part of the game. And Kearse, honestly, he's battled his own things, but the way he's always out there, whatever it takes, he's going to be out there fighting with his teammates. I absolutely love that about him. And he brings the same energy and the same passion, whether he's hurting and he's dinged up or he's fresh and ready to go. And so I think everyone respects that about him and loves that about him.
In last week's game, Luke came in for a few plays. I wonder when you've got a kid who's coming in, a young guy who's never played. What's your mentality like, Carson? Do you kind of try to calm him down before that first snap? What do you do when you bring somebody in like Luke, who hasn't really played?
Yeah, whether it's Luke or other guys throughout the season, honestly, to this point, I just remind them, hey, you're here for a reason, and go be you. Just play football. Don't overthink it, because that's the message I used to tell myself when I was a rookie: is don't make this too big. Just it's a game. It's a game, and play ball. And that's what I tried to relay to him, and that's what I try to relay to all the young guys.
All right, Seattle, evolving defense. You talked about it earlier in the week with reporters. How would you describe what they do? I know they play fast. Are they the same kind of style as they've been in the many times you've played them in the past?
They're a good bit different, actually. I mean, still some same tendencies and techniques, but, in the past they haven't, brought a lot of pressure and done a lot of that stuff. Been pretty generic and kind of just played fast. Now they still play fast, but they like to bring pressure. They like to disguise a lot more. I think having Jamal Adams over there kind of changed up their defense a little bit, as well as some other things. So you got to know where he's at all times. You got to see the coverage and be ready to get the ball out fast because, like I said, they do like to heat you up now and bring some pressure.
Final question, Carson. It's about COVID-19 and the impact it's having throughout the league. We see it every day. Players suffering positive tests and getting ill and games being moved. And has it impacted you in the way you lead your life? And also kind of explain to fans from a day-to-day standpoint in the building, out of the building, how much has it changed what you're doing?
Yeah, honestly, it's hard. I know it's hard for everybody across this country and across the world even. And there's a lot of unknowns with it as well. And, as players, we're trying to go through our weeks as normal as we can, but at the same time, we're virtually meeting. Everyone's at their house or their apartment or whatever, virtually meeting. And you lose a lot of that camaraderie. You lose a lot of that team bonding and the ability to grow and kind of gel together. And that's really been the story of 2020. You missed OTAs. Training camp was a little different. And so just with all the protocols, you missed that opportunity. It's something that I love about the game is just the brotherhood and the camaraderie. And that's been, it's been limited and impacted. But at the same time, we're just thankful that we're still able to play. And, with everything going on in the world, we're still out here. We're finding a way. The NFL has all these, really tight lockdown protocols that we got to all honor and do the best we can to just still get out there and play on Sundays or Mondays or whatever that is. And so far, we're still finding a way, but obviously it can be pretty tough.
Monday Night Football, Seattle Seahawks come to Lincoln Financial Field. No fans, which is a bummer. We miss the fans so much. What do you do all day, Carson, waiting for that moment before you get to NovaCare and have a meal and then go to the stadium?
Yeah, I try and relax as much as I can. I love playing, those 1 o'clock games and waking up and clock's ticking, already. But sometimes it's a long day and you got to just, whether it's take a nap or just try and lounge a little bit and get your mind off the game for a little while and, just refocus as best you can. Good
luck, Carson, against Seattle. First place at stake here in the NFC East. Need a big one on Monday night. Thank you so much for your time. Carson Wentz, our weekly one-on-one presented by NovaCare. Thanks so much, Carson.
Thanks, Dave.
All right, let's go from Carson Wentz to Jim Cramer. Mad Money Genius says the quarterback situation just has to get worked out. Here is the Cramer Minute.
I'm Jim Cramer, and welcome to my world.
You need to get in the game. Firms are going to go out of business, and he's nuts. They're nuts. They know nothing.
I always like to say there's a bull market somewhere, and I promise
Mad money. You can't afford to miss it. Hey, I'm Cramer.
When you have a team that loses the way the Eagles do, it reminds me of the stock business, where if you just lose and lose and lose, the thought is you're just going to have to continue to lose. That's the nature. That's not the way I like to think when it comes to my heart and my Eagles, and it's not what I think when we play the Seahawks, where we would have lost 17-9, 17-9. So I'm actually going to call for an upside surprise. I'm going to say that we're going to fix the quarterback position. However that is done, I don't know how it's going to happen, but we're going to fix the quarterback position, and that is going to cause the non-believers to realize that it was at that position that the problem was. And once it's fixed, it's a whole new team.
Tired of searching for sports updates in different places? The Xfinity Sports Zone gives you the ultimate sports hub experience, where you can find games, news, and highlights all in one place right on your TV. Follow the teams you love across your favorite sports. You can even use the voice remote to access stats and scores. With the Xfinity Sports Zone, everybody wins. Now that's simple, easy, awesome. Go to Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store for details. Restrictions apply. Requires Xfinity TV service with X1.
The Seahawks are 7-3, a very good football team. Of course, we know them. Russell Wilson is undefeated against the Eagles. He's just impossible for this team to figure out. But the Seahawks are more than just Russell Wilson. They have come together here. had some struggles early, but they are playing good football. And they haven't played since last Thursday, a week ago this past Thursday, so they're rested and they're getting healthy. Let's get a deep dive into the Seahawks with Lydia Cruz from Seahawks.com. All right, it's time now to take a look at Monday's opponent, the Seattle Seahawks, a 7-3 football team. We know them well. They have given the Eagles fits through the years, namely because Russell Wilson is like tackling water. Let's bring in Lydia Cruz from Seahawks.com, a writer there. And Lydia, how are you? Happy Thanksgiving to you and all your loved ones. Let's talk about the Seattle football team. Good team. And I'm always impressed by Russell Wilson. Does he amaze you as much as he amazes us? We see him every so often, and he drives us crazy.
Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, Dave, thank you so much for having me. And I agree. Over the years, the Eagles-Seahawks games have always provided some of hair-pulling memories, but also some amazing memories. Russell Wilson here in Seattle, I don't know how to describe it quite. Just as a fan, since I lived here my whole life, I'll just say we had some tough years at the quarterback position. Of course, we had Matt Hasselbeck back in the day, but Russell Wilson is truly one of a kind. And, you know, having him under center, there's a certain type of confidence that you have with your offense. Occasionally, you don't want it to all fall on his shoulders, which has happened at times in his career, unfortunately, and even this season when the running backs were out. And I think he felt like he had to carry the offense more than he should, but still, there is a level of confidence when you have your guy, your franchise quarterback, and he's Russell Wilson.
What has been the key or keys to success for the Seahawks this year? I mean, it just seems like they reload, and not only the quarterback, but I mean, going out and getting Jamal Adams. They've had great success in the draft, and here you are making yet another playoff run.
Yeah, I think John Schneider, the GM for the Seahawks, is incredible both he and Pete Carroll. They have a great relationship. They've worked together for over a decade, and they know how to find guys that fit their system. Sometimes it's those head-scratching picks in the draft that have you going, what? Why would you do that? Usually they're used to getting those low draft grades, but they don't care because they are so committed to their process and their assessment of these players that it doesn't matter. And usually a year or two later, we see the results and we go, okay, yes, this is why we trust them. But I'll give Schneider a special shout out because the trades and acquisitions he's made over the years are particularly, I think, incredible. And yeah, on the defensive side of things, Jamal Adams was a huge addition. Quandre Diggs too. Recently, when we're talking about safeties, and I think to play in the Pete Carroll system, you need a thumper back there in the safety room. We've had them over the years with Earl Thomas, with Cam Chancellor in particular. So Jamal Adams, Quandre Diggs, definitely at that one punch back there.
Lydia, the only time that I've really seen Russell Wilson struggle 3 times this year, he's had 3 or more turnovers in a game, and all 3 games Seattle has lost. So is there some magic sauce, secret sauce to getting Russell Wilson to cough it up 3 or 4 times on Monday night?
Oh, man, I have to give away trade secrets. Well, I think those did coincide with Seattle losing their top 2 running backs, both Chris Carson and Carlos Hyde hitting the injury report at the same time was a huge blow for them. And I think Russell Wilson occasionally has a tendency to, like I mentioned, take things upon himself. Of course, we know he can scramble on his own, but you don't ideally want him to be the team's leading rusher. And I also think depending on how you view sacks, whether you view him more as a quarterback stat or whether you view him more indicative of offensive line performance, Russell has definitely had a few moments where he's held on to the ball too long this year. And Pete Carroll's mentioned that, and having some conversations with Russell Wilson over a couple of those fumbles or just a few of those interceptions that he's thrown being poor decisions that he needs to work on. But those two have absolute belief in one another, have had those conversations, and we saw him bounce back just like he does normally against Arizona in Thursday Night Football recently. So it's mostly, thankfully the Seahawks are getting their running game healthier. Carlos Hyde's return was huge for them. So I think that takes a little pressure off Russell Wilson's shoulders. He doesn't feel like he has to be entirely responsible for the offense, opens them up to do more things schematically, and doesn't, feel like he has to take as many big shots with the football.
Lydia, the offensive line's always kind of been a question for Seattle, and people who don't watch Seattle, they think Russell kind of covers up for that Seahawks offensive line. How does the line look through 10 games here?
I will say, hey, we're not. It was a punchline almost, I think, here in Seattle for a lot of years, but I think they've progressed so much with the addition of Mike Solari in the past couple of years and getting Dwayne Brown as the left tackle. He has been absolutely locked down. And when you mention team leaders, the names that come up besides Russell Wilson, that come up besides Bobby Wagner, it's Dwayne Brown immediately. So he's been huge for this offense and anchoring things down on the left side. I also think they're always able to find one or two veteran pieces that usually fit in well with that, whether it's Mike Iupati or others along the line. But they've also drafted better at those positions in the past couple of years, and we saw that they've had a different starting center for the last 3 weeks, which I do think has not helped them in terms of getting a run game going. But the good news is for them is that Ethan Posick, who's their starting center, looks like he will be back this next week. Sorry, Eagles fans, but that gives Russell Wilson some more continuity on the line. The bad news, though, is that Brandon Shell, who has been your starting right tackle, did pop up on the injury report, didn't practice yesterday, and so things might be a little concerning where he's concerned in terms of shuffling some things in the trenches. But I think having the starting center in place is going to be huge for the offensive line.
And the offense getting great production at wide receiver. Philadelphia Eagles fans, look at DK Metcalf and say, hey, we wanted him. He ended up in Seattle. He's really gotten a lot better from year 1 to year 2. After a strong rookie season, this kid goes up and gets it, and he and Tyler Lockett, it's a really good wide receiver core, isn't it?
It is. I think both of them have worked really hard on their individual relationship with Russell Wilson. DK in particular, he spent a lot of time in the offseason training with Russell, working out with Russell at the facility in Mexico, and developing that chemistry and that bond between the two of them. I think both DK and Tyler are so incredible, but they have such unique skill sets. And it's been really fun to watch their development over the years. Tyler Lockett, when he came in, a lot of people wondering what his production would be. And then when they gave him his contract a couple of years ago, people thinking he was overpaid. Now I think people are changing their tune on that one and saying, oh, maybe this guy's underpaid after all. And DK Metcalf, absolutely. How can you... everything he does, whether he's just, practicing or warming up, people want to watch. And I also think just from an offensive standpoint, it's been a long time in Seattle where we've had a offensive player that really wants to mix it up, that's willing to, I'm not going to say trash talk, but is willing to jab and talk to even some of the veteran corners out there. And so that's been great to watch. I can't tell you the last time we've had a real vocal offensive player. Marshawn was Marshawn, but he just spoke through his play. He didn't like talking, so it's been kind of fun to watch that development.
Let's talk the defense, Lydia, because the offense gets so much attention. How good are Seattle? How good is that defense going on Monday night here against a very much struggling Eagles offense, new offensive line for the 10th game in 11 weeks? What do you see from the Seahawks defense?
They are improving. Of course, at the beginning of this year, they were having some struggles. And if you look at the numbers in terms of Pete Carroll's defense, historically bad. But I also think they didn't have, like many defenses this year, with everything going on with COVID, the time to gel together, to get that continuity. And then you've had the acquisition of players along the way, whether that's Damon Snacks Harrison, whether that is Carlos Dunlap II, or whether that's Jamal Adams. And those guys getting added into this defense, also now just getting healthy. I think you've seen their production, especially in the pass rush side of things, really amp up in the past couple of weeks. Their sack numbers have gone dramatically up. And so I think that is the good news for them. If they can continue to progress on the pass rush front as well as get people healthy. They've been missing their starting corner, Shaquille Griffin, for a couple of weeks, but he is looking good to return. So if they can get healthy down the stretch, that will be huge for them.
Lydia, sounds like the Eagles have a big-time challenge on Monday night. As usual, though, we're used to that against Seattle.
Exactly. I never count out both these head coaches. I always think they've got something in their back pocket. I love watching Doug Peterson go to work, so I'm excited for this matchup on Monday.
Lydia, thank you so much for joining me here on the Eagles Insider Podcast.
Thank you so much.
Javon Kearse was acquired by the Eagles prior to the 2004 season, a year in which the Eagles advanced to the Super Bowl. Super Bowl 39, and the Freak played a big part in that. What a crazy career he had. Made 2 Super Bowls, didn't win either one of them. One in Tennessee, one in Philadelphia. Just somebody who came in and redefined the defensive end position with his athletic ability, had some injuries, never really recovered from them, but always a smile, always a wonderful guy. And he is our Eagles Alumni Legend of the Week. The Freak, one-on-one. Hi, Eagles everywhere. Welcome to our Microsoft Teams Eagles Legend of the Week interview. I'm Eagles insider Dave Spadaro, and our Eagles Legend of the Week is Jevon Kearse, the Freak, former Eagles defensive end. Jevon, looking good there. Wait, you got something on that left arm. What is going on there?
I had a little accident a few weeks back and had to repair my left triceps tendon.
Okay, well, get better soon, man. You look good. It's been such a long time since I saw you and talked to you. How is life? What do you got going on these days?
Life has been treating me well. And as you can see, I'm still kind of keeping with it a little bit. So I've been doing a lot of the fitness stuff. I just joined a new gym down in Boca, in West Boca Raton, Florida, which there's a lot of UFC guys there and boxing stuff there. So I've been trying to mix up my training a little bit. But once I get back from this, I'm really going to do a lot more of that stuff. Just training. I'm not trying to get in that ring and fight anybody. No.
All right.
No.
Yeah. You do not need that, man. You do not need that. Hey, let's go back. You played with the Eagles 2004 to 2007. Let's go back to the beginning. The decision to come to Philadelphia. What do you remember about that time?
I just remember, I remember my agent at the time, Drew Rosenhaus. You know, like he was giving me all the different scenarios, and at the time I was 5 years into the league. So now I'm thinking like everyone else. I'm thinking I'm not trying to sign with a team just for the money. I'm trying to sign with a team so I can go get some of that merchandise on one of my fingers. You see, and when he said the Eagles, I'm like, stop playing. The Eagles for real? I'm like the Eagles that just went that were just in their conference championship 3 years in a row. I'm like, that sounds like a perfect fit there. So I was pretty much ready for it. And then also knowing with my name and knowing Philly's a really big market, I was also looking forward to that as well, so I can maximize everything that I do.
Javon, that was a special season, obviously. What a locker room. Donovan McNabb, Westbrook, T.O., I mean, characters all up and down. Looking back, kind of feeling, what was it like being in that locker room?
Like the thing about now that I look back at it, like I don't even think we realized how special that locker room was. And literally, it takes people bringing it up to me. Like I run the fans, a fan every now and then. Not to mention, I run the Eagles fans all over the damn world. They are everywhere. But let's talk with some of those, and they remind me of some of the guys that we had on that team, on that 04 team. Like we were stacked at every position. Like we had ones and twos that can keep up the same passion, keep up the same speed, like whenever the ones come out. So it just was a very special time then. And then it was good for me as well because I was on a team that was full of leaders. So I wasn't forced to be a leader. Like I'm one of those leaders. I lead by action. And we had our guys that led our verbal leaders and everything else. But mine, I just wanted to get out there and play. And they made it very easy for me to get out there and play because I didn't have to force myself to make plays or try to force myself. When I say force myself to make plays, I'm trying to force myself to get over there and make a play where I'm out of position to make my regular plays. So they didn't have to do any of that. So it was a great time. And one guy that I really owe a lot to is Big Red, because Big Red was one of the guys that I look back to. People ask me how was it playing with him. How was Andy Reid as a coach? And I'm like, I really can't even tell you guys how much of a pleasure and honor, a privilege it was to play for Big Red. That's my guy.
Freak, it was interesting. I always remember that team, and it was like you guys knew that you were going out to win a game every week. It wasn't like, hey, maybe we think we can win a game, right? Like you guys lined up and said, we're just going to smash teams. What is that feeling like?
It's a great feeling. To be honest with you, I literally had this conversation with some of my buddies here in Fort Myers maybe 2 days ago. They were asking about like the different teams that I played for, and some teams go into a game like, listen, we just want to make sure they don't burn out the lights in the scoreboard because they're going to be changing so fast and going up so high. But we're one of those teams, the squad that went in like we felt like we could win every game, and we went in like, you know what, it's our game. It's our game to lose. And that's a really good feeling, a special feeling there, like to have some camaraderie that you know that's everyone can make plays. And, yeah.
You played in 2 Super Bowls, Freak. You played with Tennessee in a Super Bowl. You played with Philadelphia in a Super Bowl. Describe, if you can, because as we get older, we look back and we kind of remember it. It was very difficult during that time, a lot of media. But what was it like the week of the game, the intensity, and then at the game, all the lights, all the pressure, all the attention?
It's kind of unexplainable, but I would say the difference between my Tennessee Super Bowl and my Philadelphia Super Bowl was that year in '99, we didn't have the bye week between the conference championship game and the Super Bowl, where everything just went so fast. It seemed like we were just beating Jacksonville, and next thing you know, we were in the fourth quarter playing against the Rams, maybe like a day or two later. But the difference there was, and then when I was in Philly, we had the week in between. So it kind of gave me a chance for things to kind of calm down a little bit. Everything just wasn't so go, 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 go. So that part right there was good. But then again, it also it gave room for distractions as far as family members and friends trying to get in contact with you to get tickets and everything. Knowing tickets are very rare at that time, and knowing that I'm not gonna give tickets to the people that I've been doing tickets with like all season long or whatever. So that part there, but I mean that ride there was it was a phenomenal ride. I mean the Super Bowl year itself was it was awesome to me just getting exposed to the Eagles fan base. Because I knew about it, I heard about it, but witnessing it there, it's a great feeling to be on their side.
Yeah, you don't want to be on the other side, no doubt about that. How would you describe Eagles fans? Are they different than fans that you've come across from other cities, from Tennessee, for example?
They are different, and what I try to explain to people, whatever, I'm like, you know what, they're kind of spoiled, you know, like they want it all, or they're gonna let you know how they feel. Where some fans will just sit back and won't say anything, but they want it all, and if not, you know, they're gonna let you know. They're gonna let you know whatever chance they get. They don't even care if you're eating dinner with your family, and yeah, you're getting toasted and honored for somebody will be at the table next to you, and they will stop by and whisper in your ear and keep going. That's happened to me numerous times when I was there. Yes,
I was going to ask you that. What was it like for you? You're a very recognizable guy, very gregarious guy. When you went, did you get out in the city a lot? Number one. Number two, what was it like? Were fans all over you?
Yes, they were. I mean, the Eagles fans they're so passionate. Like, they're going to give you your love, and that's another thing, that they're just so passionate no matter where you are and what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, some fans may let you chill, relax with them. Okay, he's not here for that. I'm letting him relax. But the Eagles fans are going to let you know, listen here, man. I like what y'all doing. Listen here. I got a big bet. You and my fantasy team coming up. But they'll let you know, listen here. Look into my eyes like, listen, I need this game. Listen, I need it more than you guys need it. So it's always like fun experience, fun exchange. And then whenever I'm hanging out with family and friends and we go to an Eagles game at a bar or something, I just tell them to be ready for it because you're gonna see some funny stuff. You
mentioned Andy Reid, Freak. Jim Johnson was the defensive coordinator, the late great Jim Johnson. What made him so special, such a great defensive coordinator?
Oh, man, I mean, Jim Johnson's thing was just so technical. It was so well thought out, and I kind of felt sorry for any rookie quarterback that we were seeing, like with Jim Johnson on the sideline with the headphones on. Any opposing team, like especially if you had a young quarterback, you know, it was not because that's one thing. Like of course, I get judged off sacks. So if I get a sack, I get a whole lot of praise. If I get a tip pass or whatever, not as much. So at first I had a problem with dropping back in coverage so much when I first was learning Jim Johnson's defense. But then afterwards, I'm like, you know what? No, this makes my job easy because I'm part of as long as I keep doing what I do and show that I'm coming, we're gonna get the sack. Even though I'm not gonna get the sack, but we're gonna get the sack. So I'm not gonna lie. It probably took me maybe a few weeks going into camp to figure that part out, and then I'm like, you know what? This is good for me. So now I can drop back in coverage a little bit and show them my other athletic talents.
Speaking of the athletic talents, as the Dogs woof a little bit there, you started your college career as a safety, right? Like at Florida, you started as a safety?
Yeah, I came out of high school as a wide receiver, free safety.
Amazing.
And when I got to Florida, my first week when you get there is just the freshman end. So we had maybe just enough for us to have a good little scrimmage against each other before the upperclassmen got into town. And then at that point there, I was such a excited, rambunctious, just eager, very eager little skinny kid out of Fort Myers, Florida that signed a scholarship in Gainesville. So I was just so happy. I was there to play safety, but I don't think we were throwing passes for some reason in our freshman camp. So you be up at the line of scrimmage quite often, and I was supposed to be dropping back in thirds and everything. I was just so excited to come up to hit anything that was moving. I was trying to hit it, and then that got me. That got me a tap on my shoulder after the second practice. Like, hey, you guys he's like, yo, you need to meet with this coach tomorrow, which was the outside linebacker coach. And then at that point there, for some reason, they kept moving me closer and closer to the line till I get where I am now.
Hey, Freak, how many guys you stay in touch with from that Eagles time you were here?
I stay in touch with I run the TO everywhere, of course. I stay in contact with Lito. We still talk quite often. We're kind of been trying to get into some podcast stuff or get into some type of radio stuff. And then Hollis is doing radio stuff. We try to get him to do that as well. So I would say religiously about 5 or 6 guys. And so whenever I'm doing a charity event, at least 5 or 6 of my close Eagles guys that I reach out to, and then they know I'm down in South Florida, so whenever they come down, I pull out the golf clubs and I try to make it do what it do.
Hey, when you look at the NFL now, the rules have changed so much for defensive players. What do you think about the way defensive players, what they're allowed to do, the rules of the game, and how much more difficult it is for defense?
I personally think it's very unfair. I think everything is geared and aimed towards the offensive course. But personally, I'm glad that I played when I played because there's some guys that I think would probably be outlawed or probably get kicked out of the league. Like guys like Brian Dawkins. He was an aggressive hitter, and with his size, he had a way to hit you to make it look like you being exploded from your feet up through your sternum or whatever, and just stuff like that. I feel like he would probably get in trouble. And then some of the guys, even a lot of the sacks that I've made, a lot of people post highlights of my stuff, and I go back and watch it. I repost it as well. And then all the comments on every sack is like, that would have been a flag, that would have been a flag, that would have been a flag. So it's really geared. So the thing is, it's so geared towards the offense. You kind of feel bad for the defensive guys, the instinctive guys, the guys who just have a nose for the ball. It's now you're being told no, even though you got a nose for the ball, you know where the ball is going, but you still have to hesitate just a second before you get there or whatever, because if you get there right when the ball gets there, it's gonna count against you. So I mean, it's definitely geared towards the offense the way the league is now, and I'm glad I played when I played.
Yeah,
Long story short, when I played because I was able to play with guys who really played and even watching Sean Taylor, who was in the NFC East, and guys like that, because I remember when I got to Philly and then we were playing against them, and I'm I think this number 21, somebody need to call the cops on him because he's not playing fair. Just like guys like that or whatever, like he probably would have been outlawed, like probably been fined like every game. So like I think it's geared towards the offense, but I guess if that's what they're trying to do, like to make the games exciting, they make the games score a lot of points and everything so well, but it's not fair for the defensive guys. So the defensive guys, I got y'all back.
Hey man, defense doesn't sell TV ratings, man. You know that. Yeah.
I know we win. I thought we won championships, but the way it looks now, they're trying to stop all of that stuff right there. So, shoot, I guess they don't like that saying.
Well, in your next life, come back as a tight end or a quarterback you look good. You could probably maybe still do it. I don't know.
I thought about that. I'm like, I think I can definitely get you maybe in the 3-4. I can get you about at least 15 plays of hell and maybe 5 plays of just being out there, just taking up space.
Oh well, listen. You calm down now though. You got to get that left arm. The right arm looks good. The left arm coming back. So, hey, do me a favor. Promise to come to Philadelphia, visit us at the NovaCare Complex. We haven't seen you in such a long time. There's still some familiar faces here. They'd love to see you.
I'll be there as soon as I'm able to travel again. I'm going to get up there to a game and see everyone.
We love it. Hey, Microsoft Teams, Eagles Alumni of the Week, our Legend of the Week, the great freak defensive end, Jevon Kearse. Thank you so much for joining me, man. Great to see you. Love to see the smile. Give me a little bicep. One more little bicep, if you would.
You want this?
Jeez, woo! Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's genetics, right?
That's the way to get it.
I got to work out to keep everything else proportionate.
Right. I understand. Hey, Javon, take care, man. Happy holidays. Fly, Eagles, fly, and get healthy, all right?
Thanks for having me on. See you guys soon.
Great seeing you, Javon. Take care. Thanks to Peter Kelly, Ray Doyle, and Trevor Hayes for their work on this podcast. And thanks to all of you for joining us. We really appreciate your support. If you have a chance to give me a little 5-star review, that would be so thankful, so welcome. Hope everybody's had a great and safe Thanksgiving weekend. I know it's been a very tough season. We appreciate your support. We appreciate your love of the Philadelphia Eagles. We're all in this together. The Eagles 3-6-1, no longer in first place in the NFC East, but a victory on Monday night at home, no fans, but at home, might just get the Eagles back on track. Gosh, this will be tough to do with an offensive line as it is, and with a team that has just been struggling so mightily coming back from the bye week. Things look so encouraging at the bye week now. The Eagles just looking for a victory. Thanks, everyone. We're back post-game Monday, early Monday. The instant reaction, tailgate no longer happening. So it's the instant reaction following the Eagles-Seahawks game. Make sure you're with us on PhiladelphiaEagles.com and our social channels and our official app for complete coverage of this game. We come your way starting 7:30 with our kickoff show presented by Exalta and the postgame show presented by Rico immediately after the game. Have yourselves a great Eagles day, everyone. I'm Eagles Insider Dave Spadaro saying, as always, win, lose, or draw, fly, Eagles, fly.
E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles!
There's still time to be in the stands at Lincoln Financial Field this season with an Eagles fan cutout. Put on your game day best and upload a photo of yourself so that you can join us on game days. Fan cutouts printed by Rico are only $35, and orders of 4 or more receive a $5 discount per cutout. Best of all, your purchase benefits Eagles Autism Foundation and also waives the registration fee for the 2021 Eagles Autism Challenge event. Order today at PhiladelphiaEagles.com/cutouts.